In this video, please excuse my throat. I've been coughing like mad for the last couple of months. I'm wheezing, so my throat is a bit dry. So I beg your indulgences and your mercy. However, in this video, I want to discuss, if you remembered the debate that Dr. Umar Johnson had with Tommy Sotomayor. Jesse Lee Peterson. He had with Jesse Lee Peterson and another black sister, and they were debating, the usual stuff, racism. And Jesse Lee Peterson was so calm. Obviously, he was trolling. He knew he was trolling. Candace Owens also was trolling and in control of the situation. Here was Dr. Umar Johnson laying out his emotions on the table for the world to see, his underwear, his knickers. And with all that, he couldn't even contain his wrath. This is an intellectual doctor. This is a man who claims he has doctorate in psychology, in mental deficiency. He's got all these qualifications, how to calm yourself down as a psychologist. Yet you wouldn't believe that he studied the mind, because Jesse Lee Peterson ran rings around him. Candace Owens ran rings around him. Same thing with, what's his name? Another black intellectual, Cornel West. Same thing. He comes on programs like Piers Morgan, and he was screaming. This is a black academic, Cornel West. He was screaming and calling Piers Morgan a racist. That's not a way to win an argument, to call somebody a racist. If you look in any court of law, a prosecutor cannot call up the defendant, barrister, you're a liar. Or even in a political situation, in House of Commons, you can't say you're a liar. You can't do that. There's some games that they play where you say you're not telling the truth. You can't say you're a liar. You can't say you're racist. They're not about finding the truth. They're about playing with language. They're about playing Monopoly, hoping that you never prove anything. That's what the game is about. Hoping you never prove anything, but to dance around with words, losing semantics or using semantics. And Cornel West, an academic, you think he knows all about this, but he was calling Piers Morgan a racist, which Piers Morgan, if he has been bothered to do some research, Piers Morgan is not a racist. I've got his book, Wake Up. I've got his book on my shelf, Piers Morgan. He's not a racist, okay? He's just aware of the extreme leftist agenda, which I'm also aware of as well. Trans going into schools, stripping for the children, etc. But that's neither here or there. But Cornel West called him a racist just because he was white, and this is how you lose the argument. You don't look at their history. You don't look at their prior arguments to build a case, and hence black people end up emotional. Why? Because we can't be bothered. We can't be bothered to read diverse books. We can't be bothered to look up the autobiography of Adolf Hitler to find out how his mind works. And as a result, Jesse Lee Peterson, he wipes the floor with all these black academics, all these Pan-African thinkers, wipes the floor with them. Candace Owens, when she was saying it's okay for Adolf Hitler to win the war. Adolf Hitler, it was okay for him. This white nationalist, this racist, this serial killer. She did not lose support from any of her followers. It tells you the mindset of her followers. The only time Candace Owens started to suffer was when she went after Israel. The Zionist Jews, that's when she began to realize she's not invincible. Right, you know? That's neither here or there. But she was invincible when it came out to say that there's nothing wrong with slavery. Same thing, just like Peterson. And there's no such thing as racism. And these black academics who made money in this area, made money peddling, you know, that racism exists, peddling that we can open a school, peddling that black people are disfranchised, yet they couldn't prove it. Why? Because they were far too emotional. Either that, or they were worried about the money gravy train. He was about to run out. So they got into an emotional argument. There's no other explanation as to why you're a doctor in your field and some, I have to say it, some pervert like Lee Peterson, you know, some Neverland, and Lee Peterson could come along and not even a letter behind him and destroy a doctor, a black historian. Somebody who could say that they don't believe in feminism, they don't believe in women's equal rights. You know, she's thinking like a white male. Okay? I should rephrase. She's thinking like a white male racist. I quickly add, the old white men think like that. She's thinking like a white male racist because they're the ones who are funding her to drift in this way. Excuse me, I'm not drinking either. And so what I'm saying is this: they're always defeating, you know, Candace Owens, Lee Peterson, always defeating black historians, black doctors, and they still go on his show for more battering. They know full well they can't deal with him. But, you know, that's how they're really popular. That's how they get their money, you know, staying relevant. They know they have no chance against somebody who's black and slow. In his own words, black and slow. His own words, retarded. Got a mother complex, an Oedipus complex, a maternal complex. Yet they know full well they haven't got a chance against someone of that low caliber, but still they go on his shows. We can't be bothered to read. I have a whole library of books. I will read Adolf Hitler's biography, right? I will read Winston Churchill to get into his mindset. That's the only way that you can win an argument against them, is by looking at their mindset, what makes them tick. The problem with black people, as Chris Rock says, we're too intellectually lazy. And that's why we don't own anything. That's why when we go to our neighborhoods, we see Asians and Koreans running our store because we can't be bothered. We moan about racism and yet we can't even prove it. That's the irony. We moan about racism, yet we can't even prove it. We can't even prove it exists. Because all they do, find someone like Candace Owens, Lee Peterson, and they turn you like an upside down pudding. They turn you like an upside down apple. You know, and because we don't read, we don't want to read. and you go on TV and you're gobbledygooking and spitting all over the place. And this is what Dr. Umar Johnson did when he was debating against Lee Peterson. Lee Peterson was trolling him and relaxed. Do you love white people? Do you love white people? You don't know the way Lee Peterson, not Lee Peterson, the way Dr. Umar Johnson responds. Malcolm X, Pan-Africanism. Do you love white people? Oh, that's not the question. That's not the question. You're cool. You're cool. Do you love white people? And he gets himself worked up into this black frenzy. And with all that, nothing comes out of it. And that's how Lee Peterson is able, and Candace Owens, to remain in control. They ask silly question, do you love white people? If your parents were just killed by a white person, do you love white people? This is the game they're playing with you. They're not interested in your pain. They're not interested in your reality. Or they wouldn't have asked the question, do you love white people? I have white people in my family who I love, who I would die for. That's none of his business. I wouldn't entertain answer that question. I have white people in my family. My nephew is white through marriage. My nephew is white. I was at the park with him. But I don't have to defend that stupid question. Because what he's doing, he's undermining your black reality. He's undermining your experience. He's being ironic. And that's what happens when you don't read books. You don't understand when someone's trolling and when someone's being ironical. It's very important to read. Get into the library. Start reading. Start opening your mind. Or otherwise, you'll end up on their show and you'll end up looking stupid.